Right, so let's now implement the methods or the functions that we need for our collection view. You're probably familiar with collection views already. If you're not, this is going to be a very quick tutorial. Okay, so first of all, so we have we have our collection view here, but we need to implement some protocol for it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new file. So in here, that's going to be a new Swift file. It's just to keep it separate and a bit cleaner. I've started to do this now more and more. Instead of having one view controller with 1,000 lines, trust me, I've been there too many times. I now like to create some extensions for my view controller. So here I'm going to call this view controller, so the same as here, because this is what I'm going to extend, right? So plus collection view create. Okay, so in here I'm going to need UIKit, and that's going to be an extension of view controller. And so in here I will need to add the UI collection views delegate and UI collection view data source. Okay, and everything in there is going to be my extension. Great, so first thing we need is the number of sections, and that's going to be 1. Then we need the number of items in the section, and that's going to be the emojis.count, which doesn't exist yet. So let's go back to our view controller and create that variable. Oh, what have I done? Okay, so view controller, right. So here we are going to need our, so actually because that's not going to change, and Google Drive is annoying me. So let emojis equals, and here we're going to have an array of emojis. So in here we've got our first emoji, and I'm going to do a copy and paste. So copy, paste, 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 and then you replace these with the emojis that you want. So let me just do that quickly. Okay, right, so I can now close this, and another thing that I'm going to need, which is going to change, is then a variable, and that's going to be my selected emoji, and that's going to be him by default. Cool. All right. So in my in my extension, I can go back. You're not happy with the protocol thing. Okay, what's going on? So let's just fix this. And number of items in section. Really? That was right here. I've done that before. So that was a lie actually. So let's just build collection view, number of items in section, right, yeah. Of course, yeah, cell for item at. That I was coming to that, so that's going to be our third one in here. So now that emojis.count does work, here we need to say what we have per row, right? So let's go here and create our custom collection view cell. So new file, Coco Touch class. I've done this before, as you can see. I've got UI collection view cell as a subclass. So here I'm going to call this an emoji collection view cell. Click Next, Create. And if you go back to your main.storyboard, here we can assign this to this cell that we've got here. So collection view cell. So this cell here is going to be, so attribute inspector, identity inspector. So what class? Well, that's the class we just created, the emoji collection view cell. In the attributes inspector, we need a reuse identifier. So that's going to be my emoji cell. And I'm going to copy this because I'm going to need it a bit further down the line. So, by the way, now that we have created our emoji cell, we've linked it and all, we can link the label to it. So if you look into, so select the label, and here you should see automatic to, and the emoji collection view cell, right? Which is full of emptiness. There's absolutely nothing in there. So what we need to do is to drag, so control drag, and that's going to be my emoji label. Great. Okay, so don't need this anymore, don't need that anymore, and I can just go back to my extension. Right. By the way, here I need a return. That's why he wasn't happy. Return 1 or return how many emojis we got in that array of emojis. Right, so okay, let's just do create that cell. So let's cell equals collection view dot DQ reusable cell with a reuse identifier. So in here I really just have to do a paste, and in here index path, well, that's the index path we get given in here, so same, just paste. So we have our emoji label, emoji, oh wait, sorry, one thing is that we need to cast this as an emoji collection view cell. And now that it is an emoji collection view cell, we should have access to our emoji label dot text equals, so in here we are going to have our emojis, and obviously we are going to fill in whatever emoji is at the index path dot row. So row 0 is going to be emoji 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then here I can return my cell. So now Xcode is happier. Great. Now the last thing we want to do is when the user did select an item, right? So what we can do is to change our selected emoji, and we are going to set this to, well, pretty much the same thing we've done here, right? So emojis index path row, and I'm also going to close the drawer. How does that sound? I probably forgot something, but we will soon know because I'm going to just run this. Okay, so as you can see, I did forget quite a few things. We can't see any of those, and that's because I didn't assign the delegate nor the data source to ourselves. So if you go back in the view did load here, you can type collection view dot delegate equals self, and the collection views data source equals self as well. Right, and there is just one more thing that I did forget. So the selected emoji obviously is what we want to show here as the text here, and not that guy. So all I'm going to do is to say that the text or the string to put as the SK label node is our selected emoji, and that should work, guys. Let's just run. All right. Okay, so we can see that we have our emojis. Yeah, the one last thing I'm going to do is to change the orientation of this collection view because I don't like it top to bottom. I want left to right. However, if I do select an iPhone, it works. Now, one thing I want to do is to show, so this little emoji at the bottom, our button, basically, emoji button, we will change it to be the selected emoji so that people will know exactly what to expect. So here I would expect to see an emoji, and oh no, I see an iPhone. That's no good. That's pretty much it. When we launch, we want the drawer to close as well. So that's 3 tiny little things that we can do right now. So let's just stop this and go back to our code, right? So first of all, so view will appear. Actually, view did appear. So view did appear, and I'm going to call this super view did appear animated. And here I'm going to close the drawer. Close drawer. What else did I say we should do? So when we do select, so let's go back in our collection view here. So when we select, where are we? Here. So our emoji button in here, we are going to set its title to our selected emoji for the normal state. Okay. All right, so that's the 2 things done already. And the very last one, if you go back to square one, the storyboard, and select this very big, let's just make it smaller. So select this collection view, and here if you inspect, you can see that we've got a scroll direction which is vertical. So change this to horizontal, and now it's going to be, dragged from left to right. Let's run. Okay, so you've seen that when the app did launch, the drawer closed. And I'm doing this in view did appear just to give a hint, a 0.3 second hint, which is very subtle, but I think it's good to show the user that this is a drawer that just can be closed and opened. So they would probably be inclined to open it. So if I look now, yeah, we've got our selected emoji directly. If I tap, I can see all of those. Let's select the monkey, and you can see the monkey being selected. I mean, that's a simple and clean UI, I think. But yeah, the AR scene goes a bit messy because I'm adding way too many things in there. Let's add a football as well. There and there. All right, cool. So that's it. That's it for this quick little section. Not going in depth really with SpriteKit. I invite you to just read more documentation on this if you're interested. This course really is all about SceneKit with ARKIt, but I thought it would be, quite nice to have a quick overview of how to use SpriteKit as well. Hope you liked it. Please, if you haven't done so, it would be amazing if you could leave me a review to let me know how I'm doing, and also to let other students find me easily on Udemy. Thanks a lot, and see you soon.